I think we are about to get started with our awards program. I was going to make an announcement to don't forget about the dessert table, but it looks like everyone has found it. That's fantastic. I do want to thank everyone for coming tonight, and for those of you that I have not met, my name is Christy, and I am the president of the Hastings Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm honored to present tonight's award winners. Let everyone sit down for just a few minutes. Perfect. Okay, I really want to thank our chair-elect Kelly for stepping in last minute to cover for our chair and doing a fabulous job. Let's give her a round of applause. And I do also want to recognize one elected official that was not on the list, Commissioner Mike Slavic. If you would please stand. Thank you for everything you do in the Hastings community. Okay, so with that, we'll start with our first award. Educator of the Year recognizes one teacher that exemplifies excellence in their profession by empowering and supporting students, showing creativity in their curriculum, and demonstrating leadership. Most of the time, our award winners don't get to hear the nominations that we get, but we received one nomination from Joe Beattie that perfectly describes why he was chosen. So I'm going to read from that. Joe Beattie, Hastings High School biology teacher, is a gem in our community. His passion for his curriculum is unmatched. Joe understands that not all people love studying insects and ecosystems as much as he does, but he finds ways to make his students love his class anyways. My favorite days are when Joe dresses in elaborate costumes to take on personas of Gregor Mendel and Charles Darwin to teach his lessons. Although Joe has several advanced degrees, he continually takes courses like stream limnology and raptor ecology. I'm getting the head nod, that's right. In order to be the best teacher he can be. His excitement is present in every lesson he teaches, and he works tirelessly with local organizations, community leaders, and grant committees to secure funding for his courses. This year, due to Joe's connections, our school district was gifted 56 acres of land. 56 acres of land. This land includes most of Minnesota land types, so students are able to experience hands-on learning. Joe is most well known for his Hastings class that he created, Field Biology. The majority of his class is held outdoors studying ecosystems, and through substantial support from grants, students are able to restore critical habitat. Joe identifies that our Earth faces challenges from political divisiveness to ecological uncertainty. He hopes to motivate students to be lifelong learners who value one another's diversity and work together to solve problems critically and creatively. I got through that. Let's take a look at Joe in the classroom.
Lots of people don't know what a graptolite is because they're so different, they're so unique. These right here, these are fossils left behind by graptolites.
Of any teacher I've ever had, he was the most enthusiastic about the subject that he teaches.
How do you get the reds? How do you get the oranges? How do you get the yellows? How does that work?
He's one of those teachers that you just don't forget.
Now we're gonna go next week and try to really help you understand, but for right now, this is nice and straightforward.
There's very few people I would probably stand in the swamp with at 7 o'clock in the morning, but Mr. Beattie made it worth it.
My name is Joe Beattie, and this is my classroom. So I teach biology right here at Hastings High School. For whatever reason, I just loved bio. I don't know what it was about it. I just ate it up. I just loved it. And I always hope that maybe I can relate that to young people, because not everybody knows how much there is to savor. If you really understand a place, then you'll probably protect that place. If you don't understand it, you probably won't value it, so why would you protect it?
He just always wanted to make sure everybody understood and could get something out of it.
He was so patient and so kind, and he made the learning fun.
If I can take them to places and they can see things maybe in a way they never have before, then maybe they can understand some of those things and maybe marvel at how amazing those things are and really savor what is out there. Like that is my prime goal of all teaching. Can people go outside and understand what they're seeing?
Give it up for Mr. Joe Beattie.
That felt really good. Can you hear me? Nope. Let's see. How about now? Better. Okay, thank you. This is a beautiful award. And while I was sitting and watching the video, it was just so well done. Kurt and Mike, I don't know where you are right now, but wow, you just did such a fabulous job on that film. Just beautifully done. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And what I really liked about it was that it felt like me. It felt like that's who I am. So that was great stuff. Thank you, Mike and Kurt. And as long as I'm at it, thanking Mike and Kurt, I really want to thank Mo as well. I had a chance to speak at KDWA with Mo, and there's something about her as well. She's just such a kick. When maybe you know this, but when you talk to Mo, it's like you can just talk. It's just like having a conversation. It's fantastic. So thank you, Mo. Now I'm a biology guy, so let's talk biology just for a minute here. Wasn't that a good meal that you had? Oh yeah. Okay. With that in mind, let's talk about your meal. So, all right. This is going to be a little audience participation, so I need some help, if you would. So right now, some things are going on with your meal that's sitting in your stomach, okay? And I want you to think about that. So could you do this? Could you name me one simple sugar that was in your meal? And if you have it, you gotta raise a hand, okay? Give me a simple sugar that was in your meal. Can you do that? You gotta do a hand, because I gotta call on you. Where are you? Anybody? All right. Starch. That's pretty good. I'm trying to put trying to get that nice teacher, a nice job. No. Starch is like a really big molecule. But now, okay, take your good answer, and let's get the molecule that makes that up. So, okay, we got hands. Okay, how about right here? Not bad. Oh, that's really good. Can you change it just a titch? What? Nice. Okay, glucose. Good. And starch is really good too. Yes. Yeah. Now, I have things in case you get the right answer. So I have a Twix for you. Okay, nice job. So we got glucose. Fructose is darn good. Many glucoses put together. That makes starch, so see, not bad. Okay, now when you take in that glucose, or perhaps starch, you need a key gas to break it down, and who's got that answer? Key gas, break it down, you gotta have a hand. You're breathing it in. Gotta do a hand. Hand. You got it, get the hand. There, nice, okay. Oxygen, okay. So I think we might have to pass a Twix, okay? But here it's coming. Twix, way back there. Okay. I don't know where that went. So, okay. So we got glucose, we got oxygen that you're taking in, and now you're gonna get something wonderful from this. Give me an E, you're gonna get something. Energy, okay, that's too many answers, so great job. Now you're gonna get energy, but what are you gonna breathe out? Carbon dioxide, nice. And you might have a liquid that you have to get rid of. Oh, yeah. It's a key part of that urine. It's the simple, most common thing in the world. Thank you, water. Okay, nice job. Okay, so let's sum this up. You had glucose plus oxygen that gives you energy, and you breathe out carbon dioxide, and you also have this water, right? So, wow, that's pretty easy, isn't it? I mean, we got that. The beauty of that is, and this is what Kurt and Mike captured so well, is it sounds so simple, doesn't it? It sounds so simple. Sugar, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water, energy. Bam, got it, right? Yeah, no, it is not like that. And that's the coolness of life, I think. So if you go just a titch deeper, you could say, well, it's actually glycolysis. Maybe you remember this from high school. And Krebs cycle and electron transport chain. Maybe you remember some of this. Okay, so maybe not. And then you could say, okay, that's good, but let's go deeper. So you could say, well, let's just look at glycolysis. And you could say, well, that's actually a two-step process. And maybe you feel good about that, like, oh yeah, I know a little bit more about this. But then you might find out, oh, you know what? It's not 2 steps. It's 9. Yeah, it's 9 steps that make up just glycolysis. And that's what I'm speaking about, where my drive every day with all kinds of people is to help them understand that deep complexity and that richness and that beautiful part of life. And that's what I hope I bring every day to school. Now I have some help. You don't teach alone. So I really want to thank one person in particular. She's right here. Sorry about that. That's my wife. This is my wife, Jean Beattie, right here. And teaching is not an easy business. So I think you need support, and you need help. You need somebody to guide you through every day, and that is my wife. So thank you, Jean. Now, of course, I also want to thank you, the Chamber of Commerce. This just felt so good tonight, to just walk in here in this beautiful venue, and all of you dressed so beautifully, wonderful dinner, lots of people coming up and saying, hey, thank you, and my student or my son or daughter had you as a student, and that just feels so good. It almost feels like, wow, little sense of a rock star, like, wow. And you don't normally get that. So that is awesome. And I really want to say thank you to the Chamber for making me and a whole host of other teachers feel so good. Thanks for just taking the time and investing and really making sure that teachers feel good about what they do. Thanks so much.
That was excellent. I don't know if many others in the room are feeling the same way I do, but during that biology lesson, I was thinking, oh my gosh, my headband is so tight. I don't have the answers. That was good. Okay, our next award, Volunteer of the Year, recognizes individuals who have provided service in the Hastings community over an extended period of time and typically volunteer for multiple organizations. Chuck SPAVIN has dedicated countless volunteer hours to bring quality, family-friendly entertainment to the Hastings area and communities like Hastings around Minnesota. He chairs, manages, and MCs the Rivertown Days stage all 3 days of the event. He also works year-round researching new talent and negotiating with agents so Rivertown Days can stay affordable for everyone. A few years ago, Chuck worked closely with the City of Hastings Park Department to bring Make Music Day to Hastings. This is a nationally recognized event held every June that provides free entertainment in multiple area parks from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And finally, Chuck continues to be the lead volunteer for Minnesota Sings, an organization that provides talented young singers the opportunity to perform in front of their communities and compete statewide. Let's take a look at Chuck in action. Chuck does a lot. He runs the entire music stage for Rivertown Days. He books the talent, manages the talent, and makes sure that everything runs smoothly. He also MCs.
The winner of Hastings Sings is Bailey Alter.
He brought to our department to make Music Day, which started about 4 years ago. And he has been on board for the sunrise to sunset of the whole day.
My name is Chuck SPAVIN. I'm from Hastings, Minnesota. And I love working with people, and I love working at events and helping people. And I think ultimately that helps people feel good about their city. And that's what we're really trying to do with Hastings Rivertown Days and Make Music Days and Hastings Sings.
His passion shines through his volunteer work, and he puts his heart and soul into the Hastings community. He is an absolute asset.
He connects with others within the community to make things possible.
I really believe that if you live in a community, you should give back to that community, and you should care about people that live in the community and the events that happen in that community.
Please give it up for Chuck SPAVIN.
Thank you so very much. Very, very appreciative of this. Something that I totally did not expect. So thank you to the Chamber. You know, the Chamber with Christy and Wendy and Dave, the Chamber really is the heart and soul of the business community. So we are so fortunate to have a very vibrant Chamber here in Hastings. Give them a nice round of applause, please. You know, when I got the letter saying that I had won this award, in the letter it stated that you have 3 minutes to kind of make an acceptance speech, all right? So I brought the egg timer, okay? 3-minute timer here. Now, what's unique about this timer is that it has an extremely loud siren built into it. So when it hits the 3-minute mark, you folks in the front row, you're going to have, you know, you have to plug your ears because it's really, really loud. So here it is. So I'm going to take a few notes out here, and then I'm going to turn the timer over, and we'll get started here. So here we go. So when Christy called me at work to let me know that I was nominated or picked as a volunteer of the award of the year, the first thing out of my mouth to Christy was, "What? I thought I was getting paid." No, I really thought Christy had called to let me know that we had gotten a contract in from one of the bands for Rivertown Days, and attached to the contracts are writers, okay? And it's always very, very enjoyable to read the writers. I'll give you an example. So not only does the band expect to get paid a lot of money, and they deserve it, they do just a fabulous job, but we provide them a trailer where they can go between breaks and have some refreshments. Well, on the writer, it said that in the trailer they needed a 24-pack of chilled Red Bull. 24-pack of chilled Red Bull, they expected. They expected 2 dishes of blue M&Ms. 2 dishes of blue M&Ms, exclusively blue M&Ms, all right? They expected a tray of Havarta and Gouda natural cheese. And last but not least, don't forget, they expected us to provide 2 sober stagehands. 2 sober stagehands. Folks, I'm telling you, Hollywood can't write this stuff. I mean, it's incredible. So actually, after Christy had told me, I got thinking about when we came to Hastings. We came and moved here in 2007, and we got here, we got unpacked and into the house, and just in time to actually go down and watch Rivertown Days. And I enjoyed the music and the festivities, and it was just a great time. So I kind of said, you know, that's something I'd really like to volunteer at. I'd like to do that. So after the event was over, I contacted the chamber. Back then, the president was Michelle Jacobs, and I called Michelle and introduced myself, and I said, hey, I'd like to volunteer for Rivertown Days. And she said, okay. Well, I called Michelle then again a couple weeks later, and I said, hey, I'd like to volunteer for Rivertown Days. And I called another week later, and 2 times the next week, and 3 times after that. I called, and I called, and I called, and I called. And finally, Michelle said, you know what? I got a job for you. I got a job for you. Saturday morning, you have to put up the safety cones by the stage. All right. Now, that job took 6 minutes and 12 seconds to do. And then I was done for the whole weekend, all right? But I thank Michelle for at least getting my foot in the door for Rivertown Days. What's funny is a couple of years later, after she had left to move on to a new position, I ran into she and her husband, Mark, at a party. And she was talking to a lady, and I walked up, and Michelle introduced me to this lady. And then she went on to tell this lady, she said, I met Chuck back in 2008. And he called me about wanting to volunteer at Rivertown Days. And he called me and called me and called me, and just repeatedly called me and called me. And she said, at one point, I thought he was stalking me. So I guess I'm the stalking volunteer, all right? So thank you, Michelle, once again for getting my foot in the door at Rivertown Days. It's just a joy to volunteer for that event. We're always looking for more volunteers, by the way. So if you have not volunteered for that, we'd love to have you come along. You know, in a career, we have a saying that there's 3 areas or 3 points in your career. One is you learn your business. The second area is you earn, and then the third is that you return. And I kind of started the return phase of my career back in 2008 with the Rivertown Days, and I also was working at the time for Optimist clubs across Minnesota. We had put applications in for 15 consecutive years and finally got a booth at the Minnesota State Fair for the Optimist clubs. And that was kind of what started it all. In 2010, I was fortunate enough to be on the committee for Rivertown Days, and we decided to come up with an event that happens continually now, and that's Hastings Sings. Back then it was just for kids. Now Hastings Sings has 2 divisions, 13 to 20-year-olds and 21 and older. And then in 2014, we expanded on Hastings Sings, took it statewide, and last year we were 37 cities participated in Minnesota Sings. And then finally in 2017, we got a chance to Make Music Day to Hastings. Make Music Day is an international event. There's 170 countries that celebrate. It's always on June 21st. And so this year, June 21st is on a Sunday, happens to be Father's Day. So we're going to have a lot of music involving fathers. So, I love the community here that we live in, the people that you get to interface with, and it's just a joy. I think if you care about your community, I think the only conclusion is that you need to volunteer for your community. So by caring, you volunteer. When you volunteer, you care for your community. And I don't think you wake up one morning and say, I don't care anymore. I think what happens is there's times when, because of pressures from work or something, maybe you can't spend as much time volunteering as you'd like, but I don't think you ever stop volunteering. So I hope that as long as I'm able to walk, I continue to volunteer for Rivertown Days and anything else in Hastings. I do want to recognize a few people at the tables here. And I'd like to start by recognizing Janet Meyer. Janet Meyer and Earl Cohen came up from Fairmont. Earl is a veteran from the Korean War, so please give the veteran a nice round of applause. And I want to also thank some people at the table here that have been involved with these volunteer efforts, helping me. And on the Optimist, from the Optimist Club, Ken and Susie Kane and Tom Morris have been very active in Optimist Club. Ken's been an Optimist for a long, long time, and Tom's been very helpful out at the State Fair. Thank you for raise your hands there. And one young lady that I get to work with, it's just a pleasure to work with, and she really is the kind of the heart and soul of Make Music Day. She works for Hastings. She's on the Parks and Rec department, but just a dynamic person, and that's Paige Marshall Bigler. Last but not least, we borrowed him all the way from Red Wing, so thank you, Red Wing, for sending one of your best. He is extremely helpful with Minnesota Sings. He also is helpful with Make Music Day, and his name is Michael Murphy. Thank you, Michael, for being here. Last but not least, I really share this award with two people, and they're both here tonight, two very special people. And the first one is my wife, who we got married, had to think here, February 29th of 1992. Okay, now you're all thinking the son of a gun, he only has to buy an anniversary present every 4 years. That's not the case, all right? We do have an anniversary coming up, however. So my wife Kelly, she's been she's been instrumental in helping get Hastings Sings off the ground and getting Minnesota Sings off the ground. And she has just been, you know, when I was unable to do my duties at Rivertown Days because of an illness, she was able to step in and help. So I'm forever grateful to her. So thank you to Kelly. And last but not least, he's been kind of my right-hand man ever since he was able to walk, and that's my son Cole. Cole, raise your hand. Cole is my navigator, and when War Road asked us to come up and support War Road Sings, he was on that trip, a 10-hour drive up to War Road, and we went down to Harmony, Minnesota to support Harmony Sings, and he was there, so I can't do it without. He runs all the video screens for Minnesota Sings, and a lot of the games that we play at Rivertown Days where we give away gift cards, compliments of restaurants in town, a lot of that music he puts together. He created the event and runs the sampler and runs the mixer. So Cole, thank you very much. Well, I see that I brought the 3-minute timer that doesn't have the siren built into it, so I think it's probably time for me to say thank you very much.
So what Chuck didn't say is that when I came on board, he graduated from 6 minutes to 16 hours a day of volunteering at Rivertown Days. And he really does. He volunteers 12 to 16 hours a day on that music stage. We would not be able to do it without him. So thanks again, Chuck. Okay, our final award of the night. Business of the Year recognizes one business who demonstrates leadership, has proven to be growth-oriented, and gives back in their community. I'm honored to present Business of the Year to Merchants Bank. Merchants Bank is known as the bank that service built, and the Hastings branch lives this motto every day. Under the leadership of their branch president, Bruce Goblish, the staff at Hastings Merchants Bank is heavily involved in organizations like the YMCA, the Leduc, the Hastings Rotary, Hastings Chamber of Commerce, Rivertown Days, Black Dirt Theater, and Hastings Family Service. They also have a history of civically serving as members of HEDRA, serving on the Vermilion Street Corridor Plan, and also serving on the Hastings 2040 Comp Plan. In fact, many members of their staff were nominated for Volunteer of the Year this year. Beyond their community support, Merchants Bank continues to grow year after year, and the Hastings branch is a top contributor to that success. So let's see Merchants Bank in action.
Merchants Bank is a community bank. We've been around since 1875 is when we originated, and this is our 20th year that we've been serving the Hastings community.
We're really focused on serving our community, which I think is a big deal. A lot of small businesses, they want a bank that's going to be there for them when they need them.
Hastings is different than Apple Valley or Rosemount. We make decisions within Hastings. We know the impact that these decisions are going to have. We know who the customers are. We know their history.
We try and play an active role in being servant leaders in the community that we serve in. We have employees that serves for Hastings Family Service, Hastings Community Television. We also serve on the YMCA boards.
Which I personally take a lot of pride in, spending your time as an individual and serving because you believe in what you're doing, providing that service to that organization.
I didn't get into banking because of math. I got into banking because I like people. And we get to impact people's lives so strongly in our community.
I find that culture that Merchants Bank has to be in line with what my personal beliefs are.
We keep things local here.
We understand that when the community grows and our customers grow, we're going to grow as well.
Please welcome Bruce Goblish.
Wow, thank you. Thanks for the biology lesson. I thought it was nerves inside my stomach, but apparently it's something else. So, okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the Hastings Area Chamber of Commerce, their board members, Christy Bars, and her staff for this wonderful honor. Thank you also to Mike Bremer and Kurt Radke and Hastings Community TV for the wonderful video. Says a lot. It's kind of scary when they're putting it all together and you actually get to see it. It really is nice. Wow, I've been coming here for 18 years for this award to witness this awards dinner, and I've always been so impressed with all the winners, and I see a lot of them here today who are involved with this. And it's very humbling to have Merchants Bank on that list, and I just thank you for it. Merchants Bank is one of the oldest banks and community banks in Minnesota. We were founded in 1875 in Winona by the former mayor and business owner of Hastings. His name was Mark Wilson. He wanted to establish a bank that served businessmen and women in the community that helped build the communities. 20 years ago, Merchants Bank made its way back to Hastings with the purchase of the Hampton Bank, another bank with a long history of serving the community for over 100 years. I have had the honor to have been hired by Merchants Bank 18 years ago as a commercial lender and eventually the market president. My wife, Wendy, and my 3 daughters, Stephanie, Amanda, and Alicia, and I have all enjoyed serving the Hastings community. Rivertown Days parades, selling buttons, customer appreciation events, and even selling beer at the beer garden. So it's been a fun family thing for us. We have always felt included, appreciated, blessed by the Hastings community, and I just want to say thank you for that. Merchants Bank has grown over the years. We're in 20 different communities in southeastern Minnesota and southwestern Wisconsin. We currently have assets of over $2 billion, and our success has always been generated by our core commitments, and that's to our customers, to build loyal and mutually beneficial customer relationships through consistently providing exceptional customer service, to our employees, to create and maintain an environment that promotes, rewards, contribution, accountability, initiative, and teamwork, to our communities, to help each community we serve be a better place in which to live and work through corporate reinvestment and through the support of employee involvement, and to our shareholders, to obtain long-term shareholder value through the quality growth of financial performance in our upper quartile of our peer group. One of the nicest benefits that we have as Merchants Bank employees is that Merchants Bank is an ESOP, some employee stock option plan. So all of our employees are shareholders of the company, and currently, collectively, our group of employees is the largest shareholder of Merchants Bank. This helps all of our employees to be focused on our core commitments of customers, employees, community, and shareholders. In closing, I would like to recognize Merchants Bank's team in the years that they've been with us in Hastings. So I ask all the employees to please stand up. I'd like to just read their names, please. So starting with, we have a special guest tonight, Mr. Greg Evans, our CEO of Merchants Bank. He's been with the bank for 30 years. Susan Callahan has been with us 18 years. Bobby Castle has been with us 16. Rika Kokendorfer, 15. Jenna DeBar, 9 years. Mike Swanson, 7. Jeff Carter, 6. Kelsey Russell and Michelle Carter, 3 years. And our most recent hires, Crystal Mill and Carla Lena. Please join me in congratulating Merchants Bank on this wonderful award. Thank you.
Okay, so that is the end of our awards program. We do have silent auction checkout right where you came in to get your registration, so make sure that you check out and grab your silent auction items before you go. And just very quickly before we wrap up, I do want to recognize the volunteers and the board members who put so much time and effort into the Chamber of Commerce every year. So if you are a current board member, would you please stand? Stace, thank you. And stay standing. Sorry. If you serve on the ambassador team, will you please stand? They're all volunteering in back. Oh, there's some. There we go. Good. If you serve on Rivertown Days, local developers, Women Inspiring Women, or the Industrial Park Roundtable, will you please stand? And then if you have ever served on the board or a committee for the Chamber of Commerce, will you please stand? Ever in history. I would not be able to do this job without all of them, and I am so appreciative of your volunteer work, so thank you. That concludes our evening. Thank you to everyone who came. A huge thank you to Hastings Community TV for those fantastic videos. And let's give it up one last time for amazing award winners. Okay guys, the dessert is open, the bar is open. Thanks to everyone for dressing up. And I hope that you had a great night. Drive safe.